What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, GDC. People are coming back home from GDC, Paris. Everybody and their mama. All the outlets. We're going to see some stories about, I mean, there's a lot of the stories, a lot of the information is out there. We'll get some more in-depth kind of info on the kind of the overview Jason Ronald was spitting. But like today I was listening to Dirt and Sean, and Paris usually pops in. He popped in. He just got back from GDC. And the thing I like about Paris, I don't know why we all say it like that. It's because of Plum. It's because of Plum. That's why. Is that he doesn't care. He's straightforward. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess he had a back and forth with D-Batch, and y'all know how D-Batch is. D-Batch is just the haters, man. Dirt does it better than me, and actually I don't ever try because I'm trying to get the not yelling D-Batch, which is a little more difficult. So, and I'm not even going to try it yet because I haven't really studied him. But, whatever, he had his thing with him. And the thing that I like about like Paris, and it's not just him, it's everybody who was there. And if you notice, if you're paying attention, you're looking at the coverage, you're seeing all the things. You don't see a lot of negative sentiment when it comes to Xbox, Project Helix, and GDC. You don't see any negative unless it's a pony putting on a show or whatever, or Dreamcast guy grifting. That's what he do. That's how he pays his bills. That's why he got to get the bottom row. So I'm saying you got to finish the job. I could have swore he had the bottom row. That's why he was so. I guess not. Anyway, the coverage is positive. It's almost like the console industry got a jolt of energy and there's excitement once again. Now, primarily it's on the Xbox side, but it has greater implications to the industry because if you remember, Xbox has always innovated in the industry. Sometimes in a not so great way, but most of the time it's been in a positive way. And every time they've innovated, it has stuck to the industry. It still exists as part of the industry today, whether good or bad. The bad part, I would say, is charging for online usage, basically. That still kind of exists. Maybe that's going away soon, who knows. But they started with Xbox Live, you know what I'm saying? They started with Horse Armor. They actually Jason Ronald actually made a joke about that. He's like, y'all remember Horse Armor? I mean, yeah, it started off, it was crazy, but, that's that. But, throwing a broadband plug in a port in the OG Xbox. Ridiculous. Nobody did that. Closest thing was the Dreamcast, and they had a dial-up. You know what I'm saying? They threw broadband in there, son. Then they said, just throw a hard drive in there. They're like, a hard drive? What? It was only 8 gig, but still, a hard drive, what? They did that first to do it. And PlayStation, you get an add-on for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, they come back later and try to act like they're doing something. But no, PlayStation's always been behind. I would say, no, I was going to give them credit, but then I take it back. I was going to say that the first time that they innovated, quote-unquote innovated, was the DualSense with the, I forgot what there was, with those, the vibration things are called. They call it haptic feedback, but that's just general feedback. I'm talking about the actual, it's kind of just like a little speaker inside, basically. It's like a little driver that vibrates. And so I was going to say, yeah, and then I said, oh, wait, Nintendo did it for the Switch first. So once again, PlayStation's copying, right? PlayStation's not innovating, but Xbox innovated. And their innovation still exists. Broadband, internet, all that stuff. So you go and buy a PlayStation 5 right now. You go buy a Pixeltech 5 Potato right now. What do you see in the back? You see a little LAN port. Plug in your internets. I mean, everything's Wi-Fi now because, technology, but still. You know, I would say the PlayStation 5 was the first console to have a M.2 drive, a slot, but they're just borrowing from PC. So who's a PC now? PlayStation 5 a PC? I'm sorry, we're retreading, but point is, PlayStation's not innovating. They haven't innovated in a long time. Their VR efforts were poor. That's why they dropped it like a hot potato. They dropped it like a hot rock. They dropped it like, you'd be like, oh man, I'm gonna make some popcorn. Oh, it's done. Ah! That's the old school Jiffy Pop on the stove. You probably just throw it in the air fryer now and destroy your air fryer. I heard some. Okay, I'm not going there. Anyway, innovation, right? Innovation on the hardware front, innovation on the software tools, innovation for devs, innovation for us, the gamers, customers. And Microsoft has always been pro-customer for the most, I would say Xbox, not Microsoft, but Xbox has tried to be pro-customer, I would say. They were, in the OG Xbox, they were just trying to get in, you know what I'm saying? So they were doing anything and everything they could to get in, right? And then 360, they kind of took advantage of the situation. They got a little cocky, definitely. They won the generation, by all accounts, because I have to reiterate this. People say that PlayStation 3 won the generation because they sold more units. They sold more units because they continued to sell the PlayStation 3 well after the end of the generation. So 3-4 years later, they're still selling PlayStation 3s in order to get the number higher than what Xbox sold after they had discontinued making Xboxes for 2-3 years. So if you want to look at it in the correct lens and say, oh, well, seems like they were desperate to beat that number. That doesn't sound like a market leader to me. That sounds like somebody who's trying to con people. Anyway, so, you know, innovation. Some people say, oh, they innovated, they put the DVD in first and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I mean, okay, but that was a means to an end because they made DVD players. So they put it in so that they could. And you know what? The funny thing is they tried to do the same thing with the PS3, and that backfired on them. You know, there's a pattern with PlayStation. They were successful, and they said, oh, we should do that again. They did that from the PS2 to the PS3. They tried to do the exact same thing. They changed the hardware because that's how they combated piracy back in the day. And they said, let's put a Blu-ray player in there. And they're like, that's going to be expensive. Like, who cares? Well, how much is it going to cost? Probably $800. Okay, we charge them $6, $7. How much are we going to charge them? They still, as much as the PlayStation 3 was, they were still losing money on each unit. Yeah, can you believe that? Come on, son. It's ridiculous. And, you know, and then they went into PlayStation 4 on the errors of Xbox, and that's the hubris of Xbox that was existing because of the hubris of PlayStation 3. And so anyway, the roles reversed, blah blah blah. But if you continue to look at the progress as far as software and as far as services, Xbox was still making strides for better services and better. They were innovating. They did the backwards compatibility. They just brought it back. So all those games that were part of the old program, bam, they said 1,500 plus games. I'm like, thank you. I'm gonna start collecting old games again. I think I got like 50 Xbox, OG Xbox games. I might have like 20 or something. I don't remember. Anyway, even in the worst generation that they had, not including OG Xbox, because like I said, that was them trying to get in. So technically, that was their worst generation. But the Xbox One generation, they lost so bad, right? But they still innovated. You know, yes, achievements were brought in 360, but you know, they still persisted. You know, quick resume. When did that come about? The Xbox One, I think, right? I'm pretty sure it was on. Well, I know it's on the Series X, but anyway, that you got this quick. It was smart delivery. That's what it was. Smart delivery, and Play Anywhere, I believe, started on the Xbox One as well, but it has a resurgence now. And so now we're we passed the Series X and S. They did quick resume. Let's go. That's probably one of the best things that they've done in a long time. It's once, like, cause I got a ROG Ally, right? I'm rocking the white boy, and it's cool. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. But the one thing I wish it had was quick resume, because I get in there and I'm like, oh, I gotta wait for it to load up. I gotta wait for it to sing. It's once you're in quick resume and you got 5 games deep and you're just like bam, 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 you bouncing back and forth, you're in and out of games like nothing. Then you go out of that and you go back to regular gaming. Doesn't sound like a derogatory. You're a regular gamer. Ew. It feels less than, if you will. I don't know how difficult it would be to do quick resume on something like a ROG Ally, or the Helix probably could have it. I think the Helix, the Xbox side, yeah, the console side, sure. So I'm down for that. But that was a game changer. But they don't get credit. They don't get credit for the advances that they have been doing. And I'm like, man, look, it's all about perception, like Dirt says. It's all about perception. It's all about hype. It's all about zeitgeist. It's all about these things. And I believe Asha, the powerful Asha, Sharma, is going to change that. I think, just like I said, based off of what I've seen from her, I watched a couple of her interviews and talks and stuff. And I mean, the interviews are more informative as to how she is, because talks are just she's reading a teleprompter. I'm not sure if she wrote it or whatever. That's irrelevant. It is literally scripted. But I mean, so are interviews. But still, you get more of a gist of a person in the interview as opposed to presentation. Anyway, I believe that she got the flavor. She got the spark. She has something, and I don't know where she came up with bring Xbox back and all these things, but those were all the right things that people wanted to hear, because they were missing that. They a lot of fans felt like they were being left behind, or Xbox didn't care about the brand, or blah blah blah. And I can see how that comes across, and I can see how people will feel that way. Like, I mean, I see it, right? But I'm not gonna get emotional over a company doing things with their brand. I mean, look, you bring the games, I'm gonna buy the box, I'm gonna play the games. It's that simple for me. I don't need for you to be on top of the world, but it does help with the overall community as far as morale. I mean, I can imagine the morale at the company itself when all this stuff is going down and people are like, man, I don't know about this, because I work at a place and they do some foolish stuff. I mean, it's not like my immediate managers or anything like that, but it's the uppers, the people who think they know what's up or whatever. And I mean, they have more information, obviously. They have numbers and stuff. But I see what's going on, and I look, and I'm like, you're talking about, oh, the company is losing money or whatever. And I'm like, well, I already know why, but we can't change anything because of reasons. So don't come to us when you know the problem's over there. Don't come to us and try to squeeze the money out of our stones. Pause. Go to the source. And whatever. People are afraid to stand up to their bosses and stuff. I'm not. I've been working here for so long. It's not like I have immunity or anything, but I know where the line is, and I know when somebody's trying to take advantage. I'm like, nah, no, and I'm gonna stand my ground and talk my words. And I got challenged a couple times by standing up to a supervisor or whatever. And if I didn't have a cool head, I would have definitely got walked off. I would have definitely went home that day, but I didn't, because I saw the trap. It wasn't, I don't think he laid that trap intentionally. It was just like of the moment. He was in his feelings, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna say the words that a lizard brain would say, but anyway, sorry for the tangent. But I mean, the point is that like Asha's there Matt Booty's there. Asha's there to keep Matt, but everybody's there to keep Matt in check, because if Matt was in charge, Matt would be destroying everybody. He would be like, no, no, it's not. It's over for them. Where's the how much money we got? This is what we gonna do. Ads. That's one thing I have to say about Asha. I mean, I understand she has a marketing background, so I'm like, cool, because we need that. Not to say that the Xbox marketing is bad. The decisions they made with the previous marketing campaign was not the best, and it reinforced the bad feeling that a lot of people were having. So I'm glad that's kind of diminished or gone. And this whole Xbox mode, I'm like, yo, Xbox mode sounds... I'm on Xbox mode, son. I was like, what you doing, Xbox mode? Like, oh, you gonna play Xbox mode? It can have many connotations, if you will. But I mean, what it is for now is for PC. I'm interested in it's coming out next month. I'm interested to see how that works out. I'll probably throw it on my laptop and see what it do. I mean, if it kind of emulates, or if it does the same thing, I guess it's the FSC. They just renamed it, which is good because Xbox mode is a better name. And hopefully the naming conventions will continue to be better than, Series X, Series S. That's fine. We got used to it, but honestly, just call it the Xbox Helix. Just call it the Helix, because it's a cool name. It means exactly what it is, and why change something that's cool? Everybody knows what a Helix is, and if you don't know what Helix is, Google it real quick, and they're like, oh, it's the DNA strand double helix. Oh. And it's not the mattress. I'm just saying. And maybe there'll be jokes. Oh my God, Xbox is so boring. A Helix sleep mattress. But I'm like, shut up. There, I did it for you, so you don't have to. But I like Helix. Helix is a good name. I can put that on a shirt. Even change the Xbox logo to the Helix logo. That might be too much, right? Maybe if the Helix morphs into the Xbox, and then it's like, or maybe it's a half. No. I think the Xbox logo needs to have a little bit of that Helix in there. Or maybe it's made up of 1,000 million little helixes in the actual design or something, Who knows? But I like what's going on. I like the information that's coming through. And going back to what Paris was saying, his adventures at GDC this year, he's been hearing things, right? And so he's been hearing things, and he can't say anything because, they speak to him in confidence. So, and he is respectful of their wishes, obviously. He's not a leaker. And that's why he gets all this information, which is cool. I mean, he doesn't have like a website that would benefit from leaking or anything like that. I mean, he does Gamertag Radio with Danny Godfrey and stuff, but that's not something that they do. They respect the devs, they respect the publishers and stuff when they ask them not to spill the beans. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, he was talking to people. He was talking to people. Not like, oh, I saw the janitor that used to work at Atari's uncle's cousin. Like, no. He was talking to Xbox people. He probably saw Greenberg. He said he saw Phil. He talked to Phil for a little bit or whatever. And so he got some info. And he wasn't saying anything. One thing about piracy, he's a straight shooter. So, he wasn't saying anything like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And he said, this is the important thing. He said, D-Batch, he said that the Xbox Helix is a console. And it's a PC. It's both. The way that I see it, it's a console, right? But it can play PC games. That doesn't make it a PC. It's because it's a console. So, whether or not, like the difference between a console and a PC is like so minuscule. It's like, okay, so on a PC, you can actually take out the RAM. On a console, it's soldered to the motherboard. If you want to be nice, you could go in and unsolder it and say, look, I took it out. It's a PC. No. I mean, they make it easy to switch out components. That's the whole point of a PC, right? Now, if they do that with the Helix, I mean, is it more PC-like? Yes. Is it still a console? Yes. Why? Because it plays console games. It's going to play Xbox Series X games, Series S games. This is going to be a cross. It will act more like a computer. On the console side, it's going to act more like how computers have acted since computers were born. Because like you get a computer now, you could play games 30 years ago. And that's a good thing. It's not like, oh, it's like PlayStation 5. Can you play natively? PlayStation 3, you cannot play PlayStation 3 games on your PlayStation 5. Does that make it a console? Sure. Does that make it better than a console that can play games from previous generations natively? No, it doesn't. And that's the difference. That's the differentiation. You know, I know I went through this yesterday, but the fact that the Helix will be better than what consoles used to be doesn't negate it's the evolution of a console. So I think people need to get that through their head. But like I said, Paris heard some things, everything. I was like, okay, cool. He's still not sure about the whole exclusivity thing. You know, that's up in the air. Once again, the plan is the plan till it's not the plan. So we'll see what happens. Somebody gotta make that shirt, and maybe I'll make the shirt. I don't know. Who cares? But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Show them my hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about all the info we're getting from GDC. What Paris had to say on Dirt and Sean's WBG. Was it WBG or TTS? I forgot which one it is. And you know, it's just, you know, we're looking at what's going on, and it seems like everything's gonna be all right, basically. Like the whole RAM apocalypse or the memory loss, whatever people calling it. It sucks because prices have gone up and are higher than they would be. And look, okay, last thing, I watched the documentary that Gamers Nexus did on the RAM cartel. Dude, I am so angry right now. I'm so angry that I'm more angry at these RAM manufacturers than I am at PlayStation. That's how angry I am. That's how angry I am. You don't understand. I'm like, and it is pure greed, because this happened before in the 80s and 90s. I think particularly in the 90s, because they were just starting up in the 80s. All the Samsung and NK Hynix or whatever they're called, and Micron, and all of them, they started up in the 80s, and it was all primarily American companies. And then Japan jumped in and started eating their lunch, and then they got mad. Look, I'm not going through it. It's you know how he do like 50 hour long docs. I think it might have been like 40 minutes, 38 minutes or something like that. But they seem longer because it is so packed. It's dense with information that it's like, wow, like in 1 minute he'll give you so. But go watch that. Go watch the RAM cartel documentary from Gamers Nexus. Steve from Gamers Nexus. It's really good. And like I said, I you know what? Greed is greed, but it is so infuriating that they're literally getting away with it right now. And I can see through what they're doing, because they did it before, right? But they got caught because I guess the Department of I forgot who it was, FBI, somebody was, they were doing an investigation on it, and that's how they got caught. But this time they're not like hiding anything, so everything's out in the open. But they're literally saying, okay, well, all these AI farms are eating up all the RAM, so there's a shortage, so the prices go up. And I'm like, is anybody looking into the validity of what they're saying? Because it seems like they just found a convenient way to replicate what they did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I'm sorry. This is not that. But look, go watch the document. It's very, it's deep. It's thick with information. It made me angry because, you know, I had no idea about the RAM cartel back then, because I was like, I'm just buying Sega stuff, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, and then I realized that it affected video games back then too. It affected manufacturing and affected a lot of things back then, because they were pulling the same stuff, except they were trying to attack each other because Japan was undercutting the price of the US. Anyway, I'm sorry. I keep going and that's up. Anyway, I appreciate, and I'll talk to you all on the next one. Tilt the weight.